I had an interesting medical experience this week. Woke up one morning, rolled over, and all of a sudden I felt a sharp pain on my posterior. Now I don't want to get too graphic, but I had a giant boil on my ass. Now, before consulting a medical expert, what do you do in this day and age? You head to the internet, you go on WebMD, and you self-diagnose yourself. Hello, Louis. How are we feeling today?
Doctor, I may have had a stroke.
You realize that is highly unlikely for your age and general health. I mean, according to your record, there should be nothing.
I checked WebMD, and one of the symptoms for a stroke was a sudden sense of confusion. And I was writing this exam last week, and I was hit with a sudden sense of confusion.
Yes, WebMD. Please, by all means, completely nullify my 15 years of education.
Oh, you do need to give me a note, though. I skipped 3 midterms.
I love how on WebMD, no matter what symptom you type in, you're always like one click away from it telling you that you're gonna die. I checked, and this was most likely caused by an ingrown hair that somehow got infected, which I can tell you is not from my lack of hygiene, because I shower upwards of 3 times a month. So that first day I kind of decided to ignore the pain, you know, go to school, and on the bus I kind of have to put my thick wallet, like, in my back pocket, and then just kind of prop myself up on it, so as not to feel excruciating pain for the entire bus ride. So the next day I wake up and it's gotten worse, so my dad decides to drive me to the hospital before class, and I have to go to the receptionist, and I have to explain to her what's going on, which was very uncomfortable. We get sent to this small waiting room, and the lady tells me to, you know, have a seat. It's not gonna happen. I should also tell you that in this room there was one other older gentleman, and he was deliberately pondering why I was standing up. I mean, there's really no reason why he wouldn't be thinking about that. I mean, what else does he have to think about in this hospital? I mean, why is this patient, this 19-year-old patient, standing up? Why isn't he sitting down like everybody else? There was one man who was there to alleviate this man's burden, and this man was my dad. He made sure that this man pondered no longer in agony while he tried to think of the innumerable reasons why this 19-year-old would still be standing. And he told him this:
My son can't sit down. He has a boil on his ass. I'm hilarious.
So next they get sent to a hospital bed that actually has curtains around the entire thing, you know, because privacy will be required for the treatment. So I strip down into my hospital gown, and I'm just waiting on the bed, and then all of a sudden outside I hear someone talking to the nurse, and he says, "Hi, I'm a med school student. This is my first time working in the emergency room." Now I understand emergency room is a strong word for my condition, but you just don't want to hear that. I'm just waiting for her to just go, "Oh, first time? All right, go take care of butt boil behind curtain 2." Now, it turns out the first person to actually have to inspect my case was a med student, but thankfully he was a bit more experienced. Now, the next thing is the doctor comes in and gets ready for surgery. Surgery is a strong word, but I'm ready to go, you know, apparel-wise, if you know what I mean. And at that moment, the doctor gets called up by the nurse, because remember, on the priority list, I think I'm right under the 12-year-old boy with the bruised shin. So the problem with this situation is, I'm now forced to make small talk with the med student while I'm mooning him. I did find out some things, though. Turns out he only has a 1.5 years left to go in his studies, and I never want to run into him on the bus at school ever. After everything is done, the male nurse comes back in, and he bandages me up, but the thing is, on the way out, he pulls the curtain out too far, and all of a sudden I'm exposed to the entire hallway. I've never jumped up and changed so quickly in my life. All in all, I was in and out in half an hour. Universal healthcare, folks. It's pretty fantastic. And all I have to put up with is this communist regime. What's that?
They took away my house! They took away my house!
Political humor! Anyways, I hope you guys weren't made too uncomfortable by that story. You know, if you have any embarrassing or funny doctor moments, let me know in the comments. It's important to get that stuff out yourself, you know, because if one of your friends finds out and tells everybody for you, it gets kind of worse. Like that time I had herpes, I made sure I personally told everybody myself, and that never happened. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon.